Welcome to another episode of the National Wrap, covering from Friday 24th to Thursday 30th of January. My name's Paul Shelton, coming to you from Transition Australia. You know, it's hard to keep up with what's going on in this climate emergency, and some will even try and tell you that not much is going on, and that it's all no change, business as usual. But the reality is actually nothing like that. Passionate people and dedicated groups are getting on with making the transition to a low energy, low consumption and community focused future. There are way too many events to know all of them, so this wrap up is all about making it easier to get a handle on what's happening across the country and in your town. So let's get on with it. There's a lot going on this week for the Newcastle Make and Mend group. As well as their regular practical workshop session on January 25th at 1 p.m, they're also offering free 2-hour sessions about how to use sewing machines and overlockers so that you can upcycle and repair your clothing and not contribute to the 23 kilograms of textiles per person that Australians send to landfill. Cutting down on our use and waste of fibres is super important, especially when you think that 2/3 of discarded textiles are synthetic fabrics that may never break down. These sessions are running on the 24th, 27th and 28th from 2 p.m. at Shed 7D, 50 Clyde Street, Hamilton, New South Wales. Food Not Bombs is an all-volunteer movement that recovers food that would otherwise be discarded and shares free vegan and vegetarian meals with the hungry. They operate in over 1,000 cities across 65 countries, protesting war, poverty and the destruction of the environment. Food Not Bombs Fitzroy will be hosting a cook-up session on Monday 27th in Fitzroy, kicking off at 7:30 p.m, and then at Coburg on Tuesday at 7 p.m. If you want to help with the cooking, they recommend that you get there an hour or two early. The bushfires have been devastating to our native flora and fauna, and yet they still face even more challenges with planned logging. If this is a cause that's close to your heart, then join XR Forests on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. at the Kathleen Syme Library in Melbourne to hear from forest defenders, community conservationists and others about how we can protest these forests and ensure a future for our native animals and plants. The most important thing you can do to fight climate change, according to the Sustainability Toastmasters, is to talk about it. And they're here to help you do just that, as they help speakers and leaders practice public speaking, communication and leadership skills on Wednesday the 29th of January at 5:50 p.m. at Fishburners on York Street, Sydney. There are a bunch of protests happening this week across the country. On the 24th, Uni Students for Climate Justice will have their third SACSCOMO demonstration at King George Square in Brisbane at 5 p.m. This event is also happening in Melbourne on Friday the 24th from 4:30 p.m. at Liberal Party headquarters on Collins Street. If you're in Geelong and are feeling left out of this Friday action, then head down to Johnston Park at 11 a.m. for the Earth Embassy. This is a place to learn and be encouraged with artworks and writing to help us connect back to Mother Earth and is hosted by Persistent Presence. Since we're in Geelong, we might as well stick around on Friday for a talk with the Socialist Alliance about whether capitalism can solve the climate crisis. This is on at 6 p.m. at Geelong Trades Hall, Building 127 Myers Street, Geelong. And then on Saturday, we can take a short trip to Torquay to talk about how sea level rise is changing our environment and how we could be in danger of losing the coastlines we love. This event is put on by Thrive for Future and happens at 11 a.m. at the Torquay Doggy and Surf Beach. If protesting on a bicycle in South Australia is more your thing, then join XR down south for a bicycle swarm along the road from McLaren Vale Visitor Centre to Wollonga to take advantage of the closed streets for the tour down under. This starts at 9:30 and will involve a gentle 8-kilometre ride. Finally, if you're in Canberra and would like to remind Scott Morrison that his press club address should probably have some new plans for how to tackle the climate emergency, then maybe join Uni Students for Climate Justice at 11 a.m. on January the 29th at the National Press Club to make sure he gets the memo. Stop Adani Queensland and Galilee Rising are also holding a week of protest this week from Monday the 27th to Sunday the 2nd of February. This is in response to the continuing construction of this disastrous mine, and in particular the plans to drain the precious Queensland groundwater at the very time the state is in drought and fires are raging across Australia. This event is based in Bowen, central Queensland, on the front line of the fight against this mine. Finally, my shout-out for most innovative event this week combines the soul-enriching properties of empathy with the caffeine-enriching properties of coffee at the Brunswick Empathy Cafe. This is a great-looking event, particularly as people are finding it really difficult to deal with the magnitude and the pace of the climate emergency. This event, held on Saturday the 25th from 12:30 to 3 p.m, uses the Empathy Circle method to grow gratitude, practice how to move through challenging conversations, and how to build listening capacity to open connections and pathways. Spots at this novel event are limited, so check transitionaustralia.net to get all the details and book your place. This week's event in focus is the New Kind Festival, held over 5 days in beautiful Marion Bay in Tasmania. The New Kind Conference is a training and empowerment experience like no other, designed to assist service providers, educators, social entrepreneurs, activists and agents of change to become more effective in their work for social change and social, environmental and economic justice. Over the 5 days there will be panel discussions, lectures, workshops and skill development sessions focused on helping you make the most positive impact you can in the world. This is a zero-waste, alcohol-free and volunteer-run event that even includes free pickup from the airport and all of your catering, though you will need to bring your own utensils. This sounds like an amazing event and runs from Wednesday the 29th of January to the 2nd of February. If you want more information about this event, check out newkindconference.com. So that's all we've got time for this week, and that's barely scratched the surface of events that are going on across the country. If you've got an event that you want some help in promoting, and maybe to get included in future national wraps, then take the 2 minutes to load up the event on the Transition Australia website at www.transitionaustralia.net, because the more events that we can get out into the public, the more we change the narrative from no change to no option but change. Thanks for your time. My name is Paul. I'm from Transition Australia, and I'll see you next week.
The Climactic Collective.